I'd like to introduce Adam, who's going to talk to us about his open source arm. Okay, are you on mic?
I think so. Is this working?
How's
it working? Testing? All right, I have to put it in my mouth apparently. My name's Adam Conway. I've been coming to this for about a year and a half. Actually only found out tonight that I can pay dues, so I'll get on that. Sorry about that.
One.
Yeah. About 6 months ago, I got started with this project that I was looking at building a robotic arm. I built many robots before, got excited by arms, and I've been excited by arms for a long time. And I'll tell you the story about how that all worked out, but first I'll talk a little bit about what RobotArmorg is. It's basically just two things. It's a community, which is a website with a forum and some other things on there, a few blogs, that kind of thing, as well as a group of open source projects. And that's a very small group of open source projects right now, given it's only been about 6 months. But why I did this, I think, is probably the more interesting story. Is I wanted to build a robot arm, and I was thinking, gosh, I want to make it open source. So I went down to my nearest surplus place, found these amazing motors. This is actually not a picture of the one that I found there. This is the exact same motor, which is a harmonic drive motor. They're about $600 to $1,000 new. I found them for less than $100. I was like, great, I'm going to go build this robot arm. So I didn't buy them. I went home and started thinking about, okay, what kind of torques would I need? What sort of characteristics would I need in this motor? I started thinking about it, going, great, I'm going to open source this. I'm going to go buy surplus motors. I'm going to open source this. Then I said, wait a minute, that makes no sense. Nobody else is going to ever buy these motors and take advantage of this. And I figured if I was really going to do a good job of open sourcing this, I had to do something that was repeatable. And that's actually what started me down the path of doing the community. I figured if I got a group of people together, we could tackle a more complex problem, which is how do you build an inexpensive joint, and how do you solve some of these how do you inexpensively deliver some of these pieces. So that was kind of the beginning of this project. And it's still very nascent. We'll talk about a couple projects that are happening right now with it, and a little bit later. But really, the idea behind it is that we're delivering open source and DIY-able robot arms. If you've seen Kickstarter lately, there's been a bunch of kind of open source robot arms, and I've actually got a couple of them, and they're not DIY-able. They're really beautifully made. They work very well. But you couldn't take that and make your own. It would be hard to enhance it. It's not the source documents aren't really written that way. So making it DIY-able means really several things. One is that everything is attainable. It's easy to build once you get those attainable source files. But also the parts can be purchased anywhere in the world. And I think that was that realization that I had with those beautiful harmonic drives was you have to be able to get this anywhere. So it should be available on AliExpress, and it should be available in domestic places. And that was really kind of a key part of this. And then delivering kind of instructions and how-tos on how to make this happen. Of course, a community of like-minded people, talking about a subject we love, and having fun. That's why I'm here. I enjoy doing this, so that was a key part of this. A lot of people ask me if this is a business for me, and no, it's not. Actually, it's absolutely not. It's actually the opposite of a business because it costs me money. And I never had the intention of turning it into a business. And a big part of that is it would just take too much effort. And kind of in that same vein of too much effort, that's why it's not yet a 503c nonprofit. But eventually, if it became successful, I would go down that path. But that's every moment I spend not building a robot arm or building a community, I'm not serving the community in a way that I want to. So The more interesting thing is the projects. And there's 2 projects right now. And like I said, this is about 6 months old, so it's pretty early in where we're going. But this first one is one that I'm really excited about. A gentleman that comes here occasionally, again Fred Duhit, is invited me out to the robot garden about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. And we chatted about robot arms, and I talked about what I was trying to do. He said, well, come back and let's talk about going and building an arm, maybe for education. So we're actually starting a project inside of Robot Garden to go build a very, very simple 2 degree of freedom arm. So a 2 degree of freedom means that it's basically 2 motors and it can move in 2 dimensions. There would be a pen up, pen down, but that depending on how you count degrees of freedom, that is or is not a degree of freedom. I don't count it as a degree of freedom, as it turns out. This is really nice because it's, as an education robot, it's a nice first step. It's totally attainable by people. And we're actually kicking this off on December 5th. So if you're interested, we're going to have our first kind of kickoff meeting. We have kind of a group of people that are already interested. Some people are remote. Robot Garden is out in Livermore, so you may not want to drive out there. I don't, so I will be dialing in remotely. But 3 of the people that are involved are out there. There's a guy in Canada who's gonna help out, who's interested in doing it. So if you're interested, there's more information on robotarm.org, and then also on the Robot Garden meetup page. So you can just go there, and there's a posting of what this is. The second project, which is a project that I've been working on personally for a long time, actually with some help from some folks at Autodesk, was as I was looking at building an open source robot arm that can be scaled up and down and carry about 4 kilograms, which is actually way too much, I realize now, so I should probably scale that down from 4 kilograms to something reasonable, and provide 1 millimeter accuracy. It's very ambitious if you sort of know where those pieces are. It's really hard to do at a low price of $1,000 to $2,000. So this is definitely more of a long-term project, I view it, but I want to build this in a way that is developer-ready. And by that I don't mean, we often think of ROS as being the solution for a lot of these things. I like the idea. ROS is for robot experts. I like the thought of building something that's not for robot experts. Not that it couldn't be ROS-based, but something that truly abstracts the complexities of the robot away from the developer. So you don't have to both be a robot expert and a developer to be able to take advantage of it. You guys can all imagine all the pieces that are required to put together a robot arm, and I'm sure you could probably point at something that I've missed in this decomposition. But I looked at, out of all these problems, what were the ones that I was interested in solving? If you look at a bunch of these, like end effector, there's amazing open source end effectors out there. If there's actually, in the world of, it's possible in the world of robot arms, the most and best open source projects are in that end effector category. Where there's not a lot of work is really in 2 areas. One is in the joints, delivering, how do you deliver a joint for $100 to $200? So motor, encoders, the gearing, all that sort of stuff at a low price. And then on the software side, they actually use great open source software, so I'm not saying that it's not available, but one that actually truly provides an abstraction so that people can take advantage of it. And this is sort of the bigger, longer term project that I'm working on, and it's not that far along, so I'll show you a picture of it in a little bit. The primary focus of this, the primary focus right now is this education bot. I'm actually very excited about this project. Like I said, there's about 5 people total that will be working on it. So it'll be a fun group project. It's totally achievable. I think it'll be done in a reasonable period of time. It'll probably be relatively inexpensive. But this other joint is going to be a pretty interesting project as well. I've actually I have a box full of these joints. This is one of the early prototyping gears that I did. that are they're called hypocycloidal gears. They're very compact and very high ratio. I think for the last 5 or 6 of these that I've come to, I've had one in my pocket of a different design. So if you guys have seen me carrying these things around, actually I didn't bring one tonight, I should have. But there's lots of videos of them on the site. I'm actually at the point right now where I may actually give up on them, on these kinds of gears, and go to a different sort of design, which is actually the next speaker, Ken, I'll be talking to about potentially some other designs. But this is sort of the background project. I view this education one as one we can accomplish in a reasonable time with reasonable effort. It's one that we can build upon and go do more interesting stuff with. It'll be very inexpensive and very accessible. This bigger project is one that I think is going to carry on in the background and get going that way. So if people are interested in getting involved or just want to know what's going on, first of all, you can just see me at these meetings and ask me how things are going. And I'll probably answer the same way every time, which is I'm not quite as far along as I want to be, but that's all right. That's how it goes. But if you just wanted to see what's going on, I post blog posts on status and just random other robot things. So if you followed us on RobotArmorg, you just get the posts. There's no other random tweets on there, I promise. You can check us out at the website. You can also, it's a full community platform, so you can actually do stuff like post your own blog posts. If you see something cool, and actually this happens occasionally, somebody will just go in there and post a blog post about something relevant. I just have to approve it to make sure it's not something random. If anybody's interested in kind of joining me and building these arms, I'm eager for anybody that, even people that are just curious, want to see what's going on, or want to take the design and try and give it a shot, if you're interested in that. So you can either catch me here or email me or contact me.